dear students. In my previous class, I gave you an audio clip regarding the summary of the present prose Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood, written by Anis Jung. Today, I am going to take you class, the video class of the prose Lost Spring. Before going to start the prose, I am going to speak about the author of the present prose. The author is Anis Jung, who was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. She received her education in Hyderabad and in the United States of America. Her parents were both writers. So Anis Jung was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence also in the state of Hyderabad in India. She is an Indian writer and her father and mother were also a writer. Anis Jung began her career as a writer in India. She has been an editor and columnist for major newspapers in India and abroad and has authored several books. So Anis Jung was an editor and columnist for several major newspapers in India and in abroad also, out of India also, and she has authored, that means she has written several books also. Our present, the Lost Spring, is an excerpt from her book titled Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. Here, in this prose, Anis Jung analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn these children to a life of exploitation. So, here the writer Anis Jung analyzes the grinding poverty, poorness, and traditions in which condemn these children, the children of the poverty level, condemn these children to a life of exploitation. How the children is being exploited in India, the present prose is focused on this point. So my dear student, let us start the main prose line by line. So here is the notice. You have to look, you have to think that notice this expression in the text, infer their meaning from the context. So we have to notice the meaning of the following expressions, that is looking for, slope their daylights, our roof over his head, perpetual state of poverty, dark heartments, imposed the baggage on the child. All this expression we will find in the present prose. So we have to find out the meaning of the below expressions. So my dear student, let us start the prose. Something I find a rupee in the garbage. Something I find a rupee in the garbage. That means somebody told here that something I find a rupee, sometimes, not something, sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. That means the boy who is looking something in the garbage, sometimes he find a rupee in the garbage. Why do you do this? I asked Sahib, whom I encountered every morning scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. So here the author is the first person expression is there. The author is explaining the story, the truth. So whenever Sahib told that sometimes he find a rupee in the garbage. In the garbage he find a rupee sometimes. Then the Sahib was being asked by the author that why do you do this? And the author said that the author is encountering every morning Sahib who is scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of the author's neighborhood. Sahib left his home long ago. So long ago Sahib left his home. Said amidst the green fields of Dhaka, his home is not even distant memory. So Sahib left his home long ago and he was set among the green fields of Dhaka. His home is not even a distant memory. That means his home is not even a distant memory. His home is not so far. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. His mother tells him. That is why they left looking for gold in the big city where he lives. So, Sahib left his home long ago and he cannot remember his home, where his home is, because long ago he left his home. He cannot remember the green field of Dhaka where his home was situated. And his mother told him that there were so much storm which swept away their fields and homes at Dhaka. And that is why Sahib and his family left their home and he is looking for gold in the big city where he lives now. I have nothing else to do, he mutters. He means Sahib mutters that he has nothing else to do except the looking a rupee in the garbage, looking away. He mutters looking away. Sahib mutters that he has nothing else to do and looking away to the author. Then the author said, go to school? I say glibly, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must sound. So, after that, the writer said to Sahib that why don't you go to school? He said glimly the author said. After saying, the author immediately realized that his advice will not work any sound. When the author said to Sahib that why don't he go to school, then Sahib replied, there is no school in my neighborhood. When they build one, I will go. That means there is no school in the neighborhood where Sahib is living, and Sahib told the author that whenever the authority built one school, then the Sahib will go to school. Then the author replied, if I start a school, will you come? I asked, half joking. So then the author said to Sahib that if the author start a school, will the Sahib come to school? He asked half jokingly. Then Sahib smilingly, in a broad manner, he said, yes, he will go to school if the author will start a school. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? So after few days, Sahib was running after the author and said that, is your school is ready? It takes longer to build a school. I say, embarrassed at having made a promise that was not meant. So after that, the author said that to build a school will take time. The author said to Sahib embarrassingly, and the author was thinking that he has made a promise that was not actually meant. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. So my promise was focusing in Sahib's home, that he was thinking that if he open the school, Sahib will go to school. So it is blinking in the eye of the Sahib. So my dear students, for today this much. I will take your class next time. It means the remaining paragraph I will explain in my next class. Thank you so much for watching my video. Stay at home. Stay safe. Bye bye. Have a good day.